I told myself for so long, you can't do this and you can't do that. You won't get this job because everyone's going to look at you and say, well, where's your degree? I don't want to let the fact that I didn't finish a college degree hold me back anymore.
We are bringing you someone who had no college degree, but was able to break into medical device sales and now makes over six figures, even though everyone says you can't break into medical device sales without a college degree.
Very similar background to you. Went to work in a PT office, fell into personal training actually. So I did that for 4 to 5 years.
Who don't have college degrees are normally the most driven individuals I've ever seen in my life, who have great people skills, that have great communication skills, that have so much to offer.
Listen to your podcast, super motivating. And I was like, I absolutely can, because I am hardworking and intelligent. I'll be good at that job if somebody takes a chance on me.
Could you have imagined that your life is what it is right now?
Absolutely not. I knew that I was going to make a change. I just didn't know how drastic it would change my life. I didn't really check any of the boxes that these hiring managers look for. I was prepared for that. I knew that it was going to be an uphill battle. I wasn't going to be the average break-in in a few weeks. It was Christmas Day. I was on trauma call. I just did not have what he needed. And every turn we took in the procedure, he was, where's this? I'm sorry, doctor, we don't have it. Don't ever come back to my operating room unless you are prepared.
Everybody who you ever see on this podcast, they all had to make a choice, and it was always scary. You had let it hold you back for so long, and you just were like, nope, no more, making a change, let's do it, let's go. Ashley, what's your advice to people who want to break into medical device sales?
Oh, I have so many different things. My biggest one is just to...
Welcome back to New to Medical Device Sales. I am your host, Jacob McLaughlin, and today, my friends, we are bringing you someone who had no college degree, but was able to break into medical device sales and now makes over six figures, even though everyone says you can't break into medical device sales without a college degree. So I know this is going to be extremely helpful for a lot of individuals. If you have one, if you don't have one, because it's showing that the limits are limitless, and we're going to actually go into what's helped separate her to not only get the job, but now being very successful in medical device sales. I'm very blessed to have new to medical device sales member, Ashley Rohrback. So Ashley, welcome.
Jacob, thank you for having me.
It's been fun watching your journey, not only going through to break into medical device sales, but over the last 6 to 12 months, really, you now in medical device sales and actually becoming that rep that we all teach about. And so before we dive too into that, can you just give a little bit of background of who's Ashley?
Oh gosh, yeah. So I have a very similar background to you. Let's go back. I did go to college for a little bit there. I was thinking I wanted to do physical therapy. I actually went through my senior year. I only have 3 classes left. So someday maybe I will check that box, but Life happens and I left college, went to work in a PT office and fell into personal training actually. So I did that for 4 to 5 years. And then on a cross-country flight, came across your podcast and was like, that's it. That's what I want to do.
We've had a lot of people who've joined and then they're very similar. They went to college. Junior year, we've actually had a lot of people that senior year, they just dropped out because yes, you could keep going, but they also are like, I know I'm not going this route. Like it doesn't make sense to keep wasting time and all of the aspect of it. You knew what you wanted to do and you were really excited about it. And so you went into personal training, which just so you guys know, personal trainers are my favorite because there's something you can't teach in personal training. If you're actually making money, there's plenty of people on Instagram that post pictures, and we won't go into that are personal trainers, but they don't work. But real personal trainers that are making their living, what they do is they know how to communicate, have to wake up early, and they normally have a work ethic. And lastly, they also budget because usually when they first start out, they're not like rolling in the dough. That's why some of the personal trainers that we work with are literally our best people that we can go get hired because again, they already have so many great characteristics that we can talk to. But for you, when you were going through college and then you decided to go into the personal training world, can you kind of just talk about the decision and what you learned in that process?
Yeah. So I was an exercise science major, again, kind of heading towards the physical therapy route. And then when I wasn't going to stay and finish out that degree, you need to go get your doctorate for PT. So switched gears since I was exercise science. I was thinking, I love health and human development. Personal training sounds great. So I came home, got that certification, had 2 great opportunities. So I coached fitness classes and I also did one-on-ones at a physical therapy office. And I just knew that I wanted to help improve people's quality of life. I wanted to spend my time hands-on that way. I love helping people. And so I thought that would be great. I love building relationships and connections and getting to talk to people, make them feel better and all that stuff. So it was just a great opportunity for me. But like you said, 5 a.m. mornings, working still at 9 p.m., worrying, am I going to pay rent this month, that kind of thing. So decided I needed to switch gears.
So then what? So you found us on a cross country flight with, just so you guys know, I just heard something that was absolutely amazing. Hopefully this can be value. I've always noticed when I'm on a flight, I'm actually the most creative and I get the most amount of work done. Like, especially like, I actually used to like travel so much. I'd write all my blogs. I'd write all of our content that we do when I'm in the air. And I was just like, man, I just get in my zone, right? They actually did a science, and it's because when you're at a higher oxygen level and where you're at, you actually go into a more creative mindset. There was actually a psychologist on a podcast, and basically their whole thing was don't sleep on a flight. If you're on a flight, that's when you should work and do all your creative work that you need to, or like your focused work. So just want to put that out there to anyone. You heard us on a cross-country flight, and then you're like, hey, what the heck is this psycho talking about? Like, can you kind of go into detail of like kind of what that journey was? Like, you heard the podcast, what got you interested in it, all of the above?
I was getting on this cross-country flight. It was going to be like 4.5 hours. I had already known in my heart that I wanted to make a change, that personal training wasn't my forever career, for a lot of different reasons. And so I was sitting on this flight. What am I going to do for 4.5 hours? Like you, I like to get work done or be creative or do something different than take a nap. I just started scrolling through podcasts and I came across nude medical device sales. And I actually had a neighbor who was in medical device sales. So I was curious what it was actually all about. So I listened to your podcast and then I listened to about 7 more. And I was like, that sounds exactly like what I can see myself being really happy in, being passionate about. It actually was a cross-country flight for New Year's Eve. And going into the new year, I had told myself, I don't want to let the fact that I didn't finish a college degree hold me back anymore, because I told myself for so long, you can't do this and you can't do that. You won't get this job because everyone's going to look at you and say, well, where's your degree? But listen to your podcast, super motivating. And I was like, I absolutely can, because I am hardworking and intelligent, and I'll be good at that job if somebody takes a chance on me.
And I just want you all to hear what you just said, Ashley, is the most important thing is, what's the lie that you're telling yourself?
That was my biggest lie for a very long time.
Just so you know, the reason I share that, that's actually the question my best friend asked me before I moved out to Arizona. And that was the reason I moved out to Arizona. Because I was like, oh, I had my family, my nephew was getting born, and there was all the reasons to stay, right? And so for you, I just want to just touch that. So because what you just said is huge, because here's why. Still go through it. I literally have mentors, and the number one thing, I pay people to just be like, so what you lying about yourself this week? You know what I mean? Like, then you share and like, hey, here's my constrictions. Here's what I'm struggling with. And all the time, you know what it always is? Well, that's not true. It's in your head. You think it's true, but that's not really true. And as you've seen, that's what we do a lot of times in the program with you guys is you all think this, but you've just never done it. So let's just actually tell you the truth. Right now, if you're listening, the people that I talk to who don't have college degrees are normally the most driven individuals I've ever seen in my life, who have great people skills, that have great communication skills, that have so much to offer, but they put themselves in a box and then they worry about what other companies are going to say and all the other things. And for us, like we talked about, well, don't go for the companies, because that's like going and trying to date someone you don't want to date who's like, I have to. Well, cool, don't worry about that. Go after the one that's actually going to focus on you. Now, I do want to share this because I think this is really big. You don't want to do personal training and fitness forever. And there's a lot of people who are going to probably do this and hey, they do personal training on the side and all this stuff. I just want you guys to know, I was in med device sales and I kept half my clients and actually made more money on the side while I was in med device sales training than I was full-time as a trainer, because then I kept my best clients and then I was able to be like, I can only do these days. And they're like, yeah, great. And then I charged more, and then all the above, right? Supply, demand, time was less. What were the couple of reasons when you were training that you're like, I don't want to do this forever?
I would say obviously a big one for me was financials, 14 hours a day personal training, and you hit your ceiling, right? You can't
you'll hit a cap at some point.
So I kind of got to that point where, like I said, training 5 o'clock in the morning, training at 9 o'clock at night. And I just knew there was more out there financially. And so that was a big one for me. Another big one for me was having a family. I wanted to have a family, get married, and I didn't see myself being a personal trainer and raising kids for different reasons. You know, those hours are odd hours, and the financials. And I know that having a family in med device sales also may be a game I have to play, but there's just so many different opportunities and areas for growth, or different divisions in med device that would be able to have a family and do those kinds of things. So
exactly. Well, just one thing I want to just say is like definitely divisions. I came from the GYN world where 50% of more females, and they all have families. So just to give hope to anyone out there that's like, well, can I do it? Yes, you can do it, because all of them there, because everyone thinks it's just ortho and it's all men. I appreciate you sharing that, because right now There's trainers that are going to listen to this, people in fitness. And even if you're not in fitness, it was the same reason why I made the change. Is I remember all I did here in Scottsdale was train a bunch of financially successful people, making all the money. And I'm like, just learning from them. And then I realized I'm working 6 to 7 days a week, waking up at 4, coming in the house at 7:50 or sometimes 9 o'clock, because I would do an 8 o'clock session. I literally remember waking up on like Mondays and be like, the next time I can take a nap is Thursday at 2:20 for 25 minutes. Like being that exhausted. And I just was like, is this the life? The one other thing I just want to say is I remember being like, hey, if I filled my calendar, I did this, even if I did group training, let's say I could do small group, 3 people a session. I was able to realistically do 5, fill that full. I'm like, I'm capped at $150,000, which let me just put this out there really quick for everyone. That's a great living. That's awesome. I also need you all to hear my heart. We just got a nurse hired at $175,000 in his first job ever. In the fitness world, I was like, if I'm in the 1% of trainers, I'm not even in the bottom 50% of med device reps. So if I was in the same 1% or the same 10%, you're in it. Like for you right now, you just started in med device sales and you're in the 1% of trainers if you win at income. I was like, hey, can I run a family on this? And would I be able to? And it's like, I wouldn't see them, right? Because I would want my family. And so I just wanted to put that because I think those are great points that people, just so you guys know, if you're not in fitness, this can carry over to anything where you're at in life. But I'll just tell you, the number one reason we get on calls with human beings, they don't feel fulfilled and they don't feel like it's where they have the career trajectory that's going to align with the goals that they have now, right? Because what we wanted at 22, 24, we may not want at 28. Now that we have a little more life, we've met somebody, we're thinking about the next 5, 10 years, stuff like that. What was it like trying to get into medical device sales with no degree? After helping thousands of people break into medical device sales, we've received a lot of messages of asking for more personalized coaching and mentorship. Our average member breaks in 8.5 weeks at over $105,000. And if you're really interested and really motivated to break into medical device sales, you can click the link below or check out our website at newtomedicaldevicesales.com. See all the testimonial videos of people breaking in with Medtronic at over $170,000, at Abbott $175,000 as a full-line rep. So if you're really excited and also motivated and wanting personalized coaching and mentorship, then go and click the link below, schedule a call, and we'll get you where you want to go. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
Well, I remember my first call with you talking about joining your course, because I actually struggled with that because I've been a very independent person. I tend to have the mindset of I can do this on my own.
Yep.
But just chatting with you and hearing the whole, your perspective of everybody needs a mentor. Even these highly successful people need a mentor, and investing in yourself is the best thing you can do. On our first phone call, you had said, it's going to be an uphill battle without the college degree. I also didn't have B2B sales experience. And so I was prepared for that. I knew that it was going to be an uphill battle. It wasn't going to be this, I wasn't going to be the average break-in in a few weeks because I didn't really check any of the boxes that these hiring managers look for. So it was a challenge. It was, I was working all those personal training hours, coming home, getting on your calls with you, getting on calls with other people. I networked. I think I called like 10, 12, probably even more some days, people from LinkedIn. So it was a challenge, but I just knew in the back of my head, you had told me that it just takes that one person to take a chance on you. And so I was like, I just got to find that one.
And you did.
Yes, I sure did.
That's why I'm so pumped for you guys, because I actually just had this talk with somebody this morning where he's from the program. He's in med device sales now. And he's like, everything you taught us, I feel so far ahead because I'm watching people trying to learn this and they're like a year in and they're still not doing it. And then it goes back to what I teach you guys, right? If you just come and do what we were talking about, watch how fast you can project your life. And like I can guarantee you in under a year are doing more than what people who have been there for more than a year have done, right? And it's because you invested in yourself. And that's what people just miss, is because everyone, I always bring it back to sports. Professional athletes, guess what they all have? Trainers, coaches. Makes sense. We all are like, yeah, of course LeBron has a trainer. Like, of course. But then for some reason, when we go to our career, which is the only thing that you are all doing to make your own money and be the best, it's I'm just going to do it on my own. And it comes back to, and I'll just tell you guys, ego. And I'm saying this as a young guy, I went through it. But I will sit here and tell you, I've literally been on calls with guys who are like, Jacob, I would much rather take 12 months on my own and try to figure it out by myself and make $60,000 and work all the time than have a program with you where I break in at over $100,000 and I do it in under 2 months. To me, I'm like, hey, that's great. You do your thing, man. Like that, it don't affect us. But just understand, that's why I know you're going to always lose. Because of ego, now that person is saying, I would rather it take 6 times as long to make half the amount of money. And then once I actually got in, not know what I'm doing compared to someone who's like, we just got Jack hired at Abbott literally in 6 weeks. By the time that person even broke in, that person has a year of experience and already is going to be a full line rep making 200 plus, while this person just got in at 6. And that's what people miss. Most people are very independent, but you were able to be like, hey, I'm going to go through that and I'm going to check it out now. That you're in med device sales. What's been the biggest things that you've been learning?
To touch on your last point too, it was actually really cool going through your course. You know, you're still independent. You're not doing it for us. You're just giving us the tools to go out there and do it. And honestly, I think, like you said, the other person said, it made it a little easier just because I worked so hard to get in, that now working so hard in the job, it's no big deal. I've been working that hard just to get the job, and it makes me want to work harder. 2
things. A, comes from the Bible. Give a man a fish, eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, eats for a lifetime. That's why we all teach you guys in our program, do the job to get the job. So once you're in the job, you go crush the job. And now it's carryover because it does no good for us to go get you placed and then you go stink, get fired or quit within 3 weeks. Makes us look horrible. And it's now why the company, we're having fun conversations. Why? Because of people like yourself.
But going back to your last question, what has been the hardest thing? Honestly, I learned a lot from your course about paying attention, working hard, showing up, all the things that you should be doing once you do get in and get the job. I knew that I had a lot to learn because you don't know what you don't know. But oh man, I had a lot to learn, especially in the ortho division that I'm in. There's just so many sizes, drill sizes and screw sizes and plates and tons of different surgery procedures that are done. And so learning all of those and then adding confidence to that was really challenging for me because I had never been in an OR before. So gaining the confidence to walk in and own it, and I'm supposed to be here and I'm adding value to this case, came with time. And then going through cases on my own confidently came with time. Speaking up when I had something to say or a question to ask, it was a challenge for me because at first I didn't feel like I belonged in there, or I felt like I am a visitor, and I respect that, but I almost respected it a little too much to the point where I was nervous to speak up.
You're more passive. That's every rep getting into the industry, because here's why. I'll never forget walking into one of my first cases and a scrub tech's like, stay away from and I'm like, all right, sounds good, man. There's all the egos in there. And so until you've created yourself to be an authority figure in that room, you have to also be gentle, because if you come in here, start swinging yourself, they'll hate you pretty quick and they'll also throw you out pretty fast. You have plenty of reps that are still in or getting into the industry, come back and watch this and they're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Or like all this stuff. It's normal. For me, I always just tell people, it took about 6 months. It took about 6 months to where I felt like, I'll never forget one of my first cases, to your point, like scrub tech was like, dude, you gotta just chill because you're giving me, like, you're frantic, like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Because again, guys, I make this really clear. Day 4, I was in a case. I didn't even go to training yet. They're just like, you need to go show up there. And I'm like, I don't even know what I don't even know how to run the machine. And they're like, just go there. And I was like, I'm on FaceTime. My person I'm FaceTiming on a flight takes off, the thing starts, and I'm like, oh my gosh. For you, how long did it take you until you felt like you owned it and you could go have those conversations?
Probably a good 6 to 8 months. I mean, it took some time. There are still certain things where, I might ask for a little help from a team member.
Of course.
And I still study before most things. I mean, it took a while to feel comfortable and confident, but feeling that way just boosts the confidence even more. The more cases that I can go into and feel confident and have them go well, the more I walk away with more confidence. And then, you'll go into one that doesn't go that way and knock you down a little bit, but it's part of the fun.
It is all part of the fun. Now, can I ask you this? Is like a year ago, could you have imagined that your life is what it is right now?
Absolutely not. Nope.
In what ways? Can I ask that?
I think a year ago I was in your course already. As a junior, I was in your course. Actually, I got my job offer about a year ago. I knew that I was going to make a change. I just didn't know how drastic it would change my life, because I had just been used to beating myself up, telling myself that I wasn't ever going to have an opportunity unless I finished that degree, or that I would finish the degree, but people would see that gap in time or the struggle or something like that. And I just was like, how can I know I can be successful, but it's going to take a long time. And here I am a year later, and happens in a year. I mean, I'm not where I want to be, but that's
all of us. Just so you know, one of my mentors just posted a post, and it was like a thing on Instagram where the guy's like showing nothing, but everyone's cheering him up. And it's like when high achievers accomplish their goals they set out to do because it was an obligation. And so why everyone else thinks it's like, it's amazing, you did it. it's like, yeah, that was expected by me. Like we don't even celebrate our own wins, and how we are is like high achievers. You get the win, you're like, check, I was supposed to do that. All right, what's the next one now? Instead of just being like, yeah, right, be excited. So to that point, like even now, can I just ask you this? Is like the thing that we've worked with is like we tell people all the time, I'm like, you can make 6 figures. You think so? Like they don't even believe it for themselves, right? How much, let's just take, like I know life has changed financially, like better, but like even for you as a confidence and a mindset, how different are you than 6 to 12 months ago?
I don't even know how to explain it. It's funny because you just said these high achievers. I have very high standards for myself. So I knew in my heart of hearts that I would get there. It's just crazy how different it is in that period of time. So 6 months ago, I mean, I was still building that confidence. I wasn't confident enough. I was learning in this industry. And so it was like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to figure this out and be that highly successful, rep that I want to be? That carries over to confidence in every aspect of my life. I just feel like I'm more relaxed with my friends and my family. I'm not worried about like, oh, I should be having a training session right now because then I could afford to go out to this thing that I want to go do, or whatever it may be. I'm just happier, more laid back. I mean, there's still a lot going on in my life. I'm still very busy, but it's just a different feeling. It just feels really nice.
Many times when people are listening to this, whether you guys are working out, you're on a drive, whatever it is, you all think it's only for someone else. You can do it for your own life, but it all starts with one thing, a choice. Everybody who you ever see on this podcast or like that we've helped all this stuff, they all had to make a choice and it was always scary. I've made the same choice. And when you move and you do all this stuff, it's always scary. The only difference between the people that are truly successful or not, they just don't let fear hold them back anymore. Like you said, you had let it hold you back for so long and you just were like, nope, no more, making a change. Let's do it. Let's go. Literally, I tell people every single day, that's all I watch is people. I'm like, so are you going to let fear win or not? And if they let fear win, I'm like, great. And then I watch them and I get to see them on LinkedIn because they're all posting and doing all the stuff. And I watch them stay stuck for another 6, 12, 18 months. And it's what we all talk about compared to it's like, no, when they actually just lean into the fear. Anxiousness and excitement is the exact same feeling. When you go in, I always tell people, because I played basketball in college, you being anxious and you being excited, pregame jitters, they are the same feeling. They're just perceived a different way. And let's make this really clear. What's the difference between anxiety and pregame jitters of excitement? Preparation and work that's actually been done in committing.
Exactly how I felt when I signed up for your course. I was so anxious because what if I don't make this work, or what if I just did all this and it doesn't work out? But I was so excited because I finally took the chance to figure it out.
I've said this on a lot of podcasts, but let me just always just put this for a reframe for every human being. Different, because I've worked with a lot of different human beings, personal training and everything. What I've learned, difference between rich people and poor people ask how much, rich people ask what's my return. A poor person never spends $1,000 because it's too much money, but somehow they all have the Apple Watches and all the newest gadgets. The rich people ask, right, they'll happily pay 10 grand if they can go make 10 grand, right? But this is, poor people think emotionally, what if? And they always go, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't, whatever, what if, all this stuff. And I'm always like, what if the aliens come back tomorrow? We're all dead anyway. All right, so it's all the what ifs. Or you have the rich and wealthy people, what they do is they think logically. So you have emotional, you have logical. Here's the thing that people miss. Wealthy people still have those emotions. They just don't let the emotions decide the decisions they make. They're still scared. They still have fear. But like we said, you just said it. You were scared, you did it, and then guess what happened? You felt excitement because what you did, and we say it on all of our calls, congratulations, you are now in the 1%, because most people will never, they will spend $1,000 on a cell phone, they'll spend $1,000 on a vacation, all the stuff, but most people won't pay $5 to invest in their future and themselves. Now, let's get back into medical device sales. Here's this. I always ask this to all of our members that have been in and come back onto the podcast is like, let's talk about some real life medical device sales, because everyone thinks it's sunshine and rainbows for every human being. And especially if you make 6 figures, it's like, oh, your life's just so easy. All right, let's have a real conversation. Talk about your worst day in medical device sales, or one of the experiences where you're like, I didn't enjoy that day necessarily.
It's funny because I bring this day up frequently with, I brought it up to our new associate. I talked to my team members about it because it was probably the most pivotal day in my career so far. It was Christmas Day. I was on trauma call and we got 3 cases added for Christmas. And so I was like, here we go. I'm, proving myself. I'm excited. And so I went in. It was our surgeon who does our trauma call. There were 3 different cases. The first one, I can't even remember exactly how it went now, but we didn't have any of the things I needed to have for the case. I had a solid drill instead of cannulated drill. I threaded this. I needed smooth that. I just did not have what he needed. And every turn we took in the procedure, he was, "Where's this? I'm sorry, doctor, we don't have it." "Why not?" I was like, "I don't know why not." He's like, "Well, let's have a conversation about being prepared. Don't ever come back to my operating room unless you are prepared. I don't ever want to deal with this again." And I was like, a few months into the job, I'm terrified. I don't know how to respond other than, "I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. And I will never do this again." And I never did. But
you learned, and now you're really prepared. Hence when we talk about now you bring 3 trays of everything, and now you know. Yep.
Absolutely. Definitely learned to bring so many backups, prepare, get eyes on the trays before the procedures happen, and just how to navigate that really awkward conversation of, "I don't have this." And what do you do? Because you can't say, "Well, it wasn't my fault. It was so-and-so's fault."
They don't care, and they will not hear that, especially in the heat of the moment when there's a person on the table.
Exactly. So that was a very tough day for me. It was all 3 surgeries. Something was missing, and he wanted me out of there.
And welcome to medical device sales. That will happen to every single person. And like Ashley just learned, you will have that, and it's how you respond. I went through the exact same situation. I'll never forget our top doctor going horrible. She cussed at me. She started screaming and cussing at me. And I'm like, I'm in my first 2 months. And again, I'm the rep. A lot of them didn't help us out. And then all the stuff. And then we've tried to have them use the newer stuff. And so after that case, I was able to get a lot of newer stuff in it because it went. But in the moment, it was not good. I'm getting yelled at, getting screamed at. To any reps out there, that is part of it. Like, just to anyone, you want to make 6 figures, all this stuff, there's going to be some stress in it. But here's the biggest thing that I need you all to hear. You said you never let that happen again. You learned, and now you bring it. Just so you know, same thing. I had a competitive doc, brought 2 trays, scrub tech dropped a piece from the first tray, and then the second tray, SPD forgot to tape. And so they said they couldn't use it. And so I was like, and so then that doctor had to use the old stuff, which did not go well because that, and you can see where that goes. And then every new one, I brought 3 or 4. And I was like, well, we're not messing with this again. That's the learning lesson for everybody out here. And I want you guys to hear that because I always want to be as real as possible. But the resilience to show up and say, hey, I'm going to do better. Just understand, in medical device sales, guys, it's not your fault ever, but it's always your fault in everything. You didn't put the trays in. You didn't do the stuff. There's someone else and all the things. But guess what? You're the person there, and it will not look good if you say, well, sorry, doc, my other and you throw them under the bus and then all the stuff. And at the end of the day, like we would say, the number one most important person, patient on the table. And that doctor and that surgeon does not care whatever you're going to say or whatever excuse you have. That person on the table is now not getting the best possible care that they should have if we would have had the right things in place. Now, here's my better question, because I want that to be a realist for everyone to be like, well, okay, let me get my mind wrapped around medical device sales. Now, let's actually go to the best day, one of the best days you've had experienced that was like, I am definitely in the right thing, which makes the day that just happened worth it on this day.
It actually ties into that day because that doctor, ever since then, I was terrified to go back to his OR after that. I remember for like a week or 2 to follow, I was like, please, please, please don't have any cases with him. Because I was there, I knew it was going to be scrutinized every step of the case. Do you have the right thing today? Or did you come prepared like I told you? And so a few months later, I had done more cases with him over time, but we had a few more cases with him that I was covering. And, I had met a courier at the hospital at 2:30 in the morning, went above and beyond to go get everything that we needed for these surgeries, and did, I think, 3 or 4 cases with him that next day. And after the last one, he turned and he was like, you're a really hard worker. And I told your boss you were a good hire. And just hearing that from him, someone who wanted me out so quick on Christmas Day, for him to turn around and say, you work really hard and you've done a good job in the time that you've been here, was like, I made it. So that just helps the day. And
I just want you to know, Ashley, you're one of the hardest workers I know.
Thank you.
It's awesome. And I just want you guys to know, and I hope you guys all hear that. Everyone thinks it's so hard to be good in med device sales. And I'm just going to let you know, some reps going to watch this and get very triggered. And I will have a couple messages from them. But let me just sit here and tell you, if you just show up and work hard and like actually work, not just tell people you're at the hospital sitting on TikTok, like actually work, and you're just coachable, watch what happens for your career in medical device sales. And that's actually, you're so coachable. You are hardworking. And like, I just had a talk with another rep, and there's somebody who's taking disability at 27 years old, not because anything's wrong with them. They're just lazy and they don't want to work. And like, that's other people in med device sales. For example, why I say our personal trainers. My favorite was Jake, why do you want to do this? And I'm like, I'm already working 14-hour days. What are you talking about? Like, oh, they're like, there's some long days. I'm like, yeah, try me. Like, try me on they're like, you're going to have to wake up at 6. I'm like, I'm already up at 3:50. So I've already worked for a couple hours before that time, right? It's so much fun. Not only watching you do this whole journey, but also now seeing you in the industry making impacts and like hearing stories like that, because it's fun for me to see you guys. One of the best parts of my job and our teams is we get to see you guys before all of it. We get to see you when you're scared. We get to see you when you're beat down. We get to see when you're like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And we also get to see you. We get to watch the confidence grow. We get to watch you continue to get where you want to go. And then I and our team get to watch you all do this. Life's different in a year. You're where you want to be, and you're making a true impact. And it's just the best. And I just want to say I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. It's awesome. It's been such a rewarding journey for sure.
Yeah. And you've absolutely crushed it. Now, my last question I will ask is, you'll have a lot of people reach out and they say, Ashley, can you help me just break into medical device sales? And guys, that's why we do this. And so, Ashley, what's your advice to people who want to break into medical device sales?
Oh, I have so many different things. My biggest one is just to believe in yourself. I mean, like I said, I was so hard on myself for so long for not having that stupid college degree. And it helps, but the confidence, believing in yourself. If you want to do something, you can do it.
Yep.
I finally just told myself, if this is what you want, it might take longer than other people, but you can absolutely do it, and then work for it. You know, I told myself before that, oh, I want to do this, but I didn't do anything to go achieve that. Yep. So if you believe in yourself and you actually work for it, you'd be amazed at what you can achieve.
I love that answer. Like, it's so good. And then I just want to put this out there. It doesn't have to be me. It's like personal training. Not everyone's going to vibe with my bushy eyebrows and who we are and like what we do, right? There's always someone who's probably done what you want to do. It's hopeless to you. Like, again, I've shared this multiple times, but again, one of the surgeons I just had a conversation with a couple months ago, like, they said their patient, and the patient I was with, they're like, you're scared because you've never done this before. We get it. We have. This is your first time. It's not ours. Why it's scary, why it's all this stuff. It's because you're making a change. You're deciding to change your life. But also just understand what most people try to do is they try to do it alone. And that's what makes it even harder.
That would be my other piece of advice. Mentors. For so long, like I said, I want to be independent, but you invest in yourself, and someone who's done it before you will help you.
You want to know what the best part about that I just have to share is, you want to do it independently, but what you actually find out is when you are with a mentor, you actually get more independent from them. A good mentor hopes you do as good as them, or like expects. A great mentor is expecting you to crush them. Do it faster, make more, do it like that's their, like, because that makes them a great mentor. But what many people stay is at a good mentor because they want the ego to be like, I'm still at the top. Like, I helped you, but I'm still here. A great mentor is like, look at all of them that beat me. Look at all of them. Like, they just crushed it. And that's what I'm saying. I just want to just encourage you guys as you go through it. Just understand we live in a world where everyone can win. You guys will come into an industry where not many people have that mindset. They think literally when everyone has a knife at them and they're coming at them and they think everyone's out to get them. Hence why when you don't have that mindset, you go make a lot of money and you work hard, and it's crazy how like we produce top performers because we're not focused on everyone's trying to screw us, because guess what? You just go be you. You be a hard worker. You be authentically you. You show up, you do all the stuff. You have surgeons who say, hey, that's a great hire. And because of you, they stay.
To touch on that, going into it, I had the personal sales experience, so personal training sales. So I was selling my personal training, but sales was the one thing I was nervous about. But now I'm a sales rep. I'm in the sales industry. And my boss would ask me frequently, are you a good person? Are you genuine? Are you authentic? Then that's going to come across. Don't worry about thinking that people are going to think you're this, sales rep with that, what persona that comes with it. Just be you.
Yep. It's what we always just try to teach you guys is, if you can go put your head on the pillow and sleep at night and know you did the right thing and all of the stuff. And then when you might not do the right thing, go make it right. That's going to be good. Because I'll just tell you, as somebody who does these podcasts and share our value, you have a lot of people who disagree with my opinion and all this stuff. And that's okay. But we just get to see it every single day of watching people change their lives, and they don't. My last piece of advice, heard it from Mr. Aaron Rodgers. I said it on another podcast, but don't take criticism from somebody you want to take advice from. There's going to be a lot of people who don't like you. There's going to be a lot of people who, whatever. Cool. But do they know you? Do they truly know you? Many of the human beings who don't like me, I'm like, I don't like you. I want to hang out with you. Like, we have literally nothing in common. They're like, so like, again, stop trying to please people who just say the last thing I'll end with. Anybody that's going to talk bad about you or do any stuff says more about them than it says about you. The people that I know that are absolutely crushing it in med device sales, they're worried about crushing their deals, not other reps. Just want to put that out there, everyone. But Ashley, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, and I'm so proud of you, and congratulations on all your success. And I know this is only the beginning, but congratulations on going from no degree to 6 figures in medical device sales.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm so happy to be here, and I owe a lot of it to you.
Hey, well, you did it all. We just got to be a part of the journey. So I'm thankful. And if you guys are interested, press that like and subscribe button. If you guys want to learn more how to change your guys' life and break into medical device sales, you guys can click the link below, schedule a call. But just understand, we always just want you guys to win. Keep crushing it. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.